Have you ever accidentally overordered too many plants? It happens to the best of us. So last year, I planted about 450 to 500 gladiolus bulbs on my microflower farm here in Western Massachusetts. And I knew they would not overwinter in our zone 6A, or so I thought. And fall came and the plan was to dig them up. And unfortunately, I became all consumed with tulip bulbs that came in around the same time. Never got to digging them up. And I did not expect them to overwinter at all, knowing that they generally do not overwinter in zone 6A and that we had a very, very cold winter last year. Well, lo and behold, almost all of them came back up. So let me show you what is happening out in our garden. So last year I just had to get these planted somewhere, and I threw them back here in one of our little more perennial garden areas, and I put in some T-posts here that you can see so I could kind of corral them up, because gladiolus can get pretty tall and floppy, and didn't even really cut them back in the fall. I was, like I said, just so busy with tulip bulbs when they came in, and I was shocked when I saw that almost all of these have come back up. So you can see, top down, minus some weeds, they've come back pretty well, except for, oddly, this little middle section here. And then down here, they look pretty good as well. So earlier this spring, when I couldn't see that these were going to come back or not, I had placed an order for about another 400 to 500 gladiolus bulbs, assuming that I had lost all of these. So I now have about another 400 to 500 gladiolus bulbs to plant out. The plan was I was going to plant them here, assuming that these were not going to make it back, and then I started to see sprouts. So I am pivoting, and I'm trying to find another spot to plant these other 400 to 500 gladiolus bulbs. I grew gladiolus last year more because I loved them. I thought they were such a cool flower. They did not sell well for me, and that's okay. I did use them in some of my arrangements later in the season for my dahlia subscription. I didn't sell them as well at the farmer's market. People liked them when they were mixed in, but just as a standalone bunched flowers, people didn't like them. But I think they're such a statement flower, and I am not giving up on trying to convert people over to being gladiola lovers. So I'm going to keep trying. They just come in such cool colors. I mean, such a wide variety of colors. And then they also just have an incredible vase life. And honestly, just 10 stems in a vase is such a statement piece. I love that about them. And they're really easy to grow. And fun fact, you can succession plant them. So I'm going to pretend that this was my first succession that happened naturally, and I'm going to plant the other ones in a raised beds area in hopes that this fall, yes, I can dig them up and save them as planned. So that way I will have them again for next year, and I can actually succession plant them when I would like to have them. So these ones I would imagine will start blooming probably in the next, I would imagine, 3 to 4 weeks. The other ones, so gladiolus can take anywhere from 60 to 100 days to bloom. So I could be looking at blooms from anywhere to August, end of August, to early October from today. We added a bunch of raised beds this year just so I could have some more growing space for the flowers. So we added 8 of these guys here, this one, this row here, and this row here. So they are 3 foot wide and about 8 foot long. And then where the arch is, where we have the sweet peas, we had 3 beds on each side, and we added a 4th bed on each side this year with additional cattle panels, which has just really allowed us to be hopefully a lot more productive, which I'm excited for. I think that I'm going to plant all these gladiolus right now in this bed. I do have a little bit of this bed left over here where I have some sunflowers, but I'm thinking I want to maybe save this for succession planting. However, I have about a 30-foot stretch in my main garden area that I just ripped out all my ranunculus that I'm going to put in zinnias and some more sunflowers probably within the next few days. So the gladiolus corms themselves like to be planted about 4 to 6 inches deep and about 6 inches apart. So I'm hoping that if I use my little trowel, I can make my little troughs that I'm going to plant into about the 4 to 6 inches deep, and just do rows that are about 6 inches apart. Again, these will have to be corralled because they can get very tall. So I'm going to be doing that. I need to do that anyways for a lot of these beds. I need to get netting on them as well. So I'm going to do that after I get these all planted. If you haven't seen a gladiolus corm before, this is what it looks like. And this one already has some growth coming out, and you plant them kind of flat side, the basal plate, I guess you'd call it, down. With the little points going up, the growth points going up. These are pretty small gladiolus corms. They were the biggest size I could get, but I'm going to show you, I do have some that I did save from last, but I'm going to go through the varieties I got, and I'll put pictures up on the screen from where I got them from so you can see what they look like, because the colors, again, are just incredible. So this one is called, let's see, this is Keo, which I grew last year and I loved it, and it's a green, a very fun happy green color, which is kind of unusual for flowers, so that's a fun one. The next one is Titanic, which I don't remember what color this one is. It might be a pink, because I did get a couple pinks this year, additional pinks I should say. So we have Titanic. And it does look like I ordered, this says it's a bag of 100. So far that's 200 corms. And the size for these, because they do come in different sizes, kind of like tulip bulbs do, are the 12 to 14 centimeters, what they're supposed to be. And they're probably pretty close to that. And then we have, this one is, get the tag open. Oh, Ivory Perfection, beautiful white. I love having a nice white, clean gladiolus. I think it's just gorgeous. And then those are saved ones. Oh, then we have one called Adrenaline. So those are all, let's see, 1, 2, 3. So I only got 400 new ones. Look at me, I'm doing better than I thought. But I do have some saved ones. So let me just open one of these bags to show you kind of the difference here in the sizes, because some of these got a little large from saving them from last year after growing for the season into the following, to the fall. Hopefully you can see the difference here. This one here is one that I got in this year, and this is one that I dug up from last year, and it is quite a bit bigger. So it will be interesting to see what kind of difference they have in flowers size as well, because that can be impacted. And for the bulbs I saved, I just looked, I have 4 little bags here. One of them I didn't write what they were, so it's a surprise. But the other 3 do have their labels in them. One is Keo, so I have a little bit of extra Keo. I have Purple Magic, and then I have one called Speed Date. So I'll make sure I also put up pictures of those. And I know I had some other colors last year. I don't even know if I have the labels out back, so I'm going to try to get them identified when they're blooming, because I know where I got them last year, so that way I can have everything labeled for next year. I just pulled out my Omni calculator for plant spacing. It is probably one of my favorite websites to go to see what I can fit where. So this is a 3x8 bed. If I do 6-inch spacing, accounting for like a 3-inch border, it's saying I can only fit 96 plants. Womp womp. I have at least 400, if not more, with the ones I saved. I know I have more with the ones I saved. I'm gonna push the spacing to 4 inches. I think they're going to be fine. Like I said, we're not growing them as perennials here. I'm going to grow them kind of as an annual with the intent of digging them up. I'm actually okay if I have a little bit of a smaller bloom anyways, because these blooms can get quite massive. If I do 4-inch spacing, it says I can fit 184 on a grid of 8 rows with 23 corms per row. So we're going to give that a try. Got my handy dandy little tape measure here. I lay it across my bed, and then I'm going to mark where I am going to try to fit 8 rows in here. So if I go to 33 inches is my 3-inch border, and then we're going to go 8 inches from the, 8 inches from there. Sorry, not 8 inches, 6 inches from there. And right here is right about 4 inches. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's not 8 rows. It's not 8 rows, it's 6 rows, because this is 6-inch spacing, and I'm gonna push it to 4. So, best thing about playing in the dirt, just clear our canvas, pull some weeds, and we start over. So we're 3 inches in, and then we're gonna go 4 inches. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 rows. So I think what I'm gonna do is use my trowel tool, drag one row, get it planted, then do the next, and so on, and see how many of these guys we can get in, hopefully within the next hour or so. Okay, row 1. Losing a bunch of dirt over the edge, but that's okay. This bed's a little full as it is. The thing I love about my Hori, I'm obsessed with this tool. My husband actually just got me a new one because we learned that they make left and right-handed ones, and I am left-handed. So this one has the little blade saw on the right, actually the right side, the correct side, the right side. So when I go cut something, I don't actually have to cut backwards. I can cut how I need to cut. But it also has measuring. It goes from 1 inch up to 6 inches. And I know that the whole blade with the handle is about 12 inches. So it's just a great way to quickly measure when I'm planting things out, and I love that. I usually use this little measuring tape as well to kind of get my rows started, and then this for measuring down. But we need to get about 4 inches deep. So again, this will tell me 4 inches is about there. Just kind of draw this out, and then we're gonna put bulbs about every, I guess we'll do 6 inches down, maybe. No, we're gonna push it 4 to 5 inches down. So I'm gonna pop these in. And again, you just want to make sure that the flat part is down. These have little growth tips, and those are just pointing up. These actually don't get planted super deep, and they're a really tall, narrow plant, so I'm never too concerned with planting them close together. And this variety, actually, before I forget, because I'm gonna try to do 1 to 2 varieties down the rows rather than across. So this variety was Titanic. Just gonna make myself a little label really quick before I forget, because I am famous for that. You know what, I'm actually gonna put the date on here too, because I'm curious how long these will take to start blooming. So today is June 24th. I don't think I'll get these planted all tonight. It's already 7 p.m. My husband brought me some dinner, so I took a quick break to run inside and eat, which was very sweet of him. Hi guys. Uh-oh. Must be close to witching hour. 30 in 1 row. Not bad. Let me get the camera and I will show you what this looks like, and then I'll do all the rest. Okay, so hopefully you can see that these are pretty consistently 4 inches. So I was eyeballing, but also periodically checking with my Hori from center to center, that I am at about 4 inches, 4 to 5 inches between. So these all look pretty good to me. It is tight, but I think it's gonna be just fine. up getting about 30 corms per row, which might be pushing my luck with the 4-inch spacing. But that is 8 rows, approximately 240 gladiolus corms in here. It's going to be tight. Like I said, I might get smaller blooms. I'm okay with it. We're going to pull these all up in the fall, which is a whole other thing about storing them. But they store really well. The ones I stored last winter, just kept in my garage, and they seem okay. We're going to plant those out somewhere in the next couple weeks here, so that would give us 3 successions of gladiolus for this year. So I will come back and show you what these guys look like. Hopefully in a few weeks they'll start pushing some growth. They're usually pretty quick, especially when the soil temp is warmer out and it's moist, so I'm going to keep this moist. The next thing I have to do, you can probably see this black pipe poly tubing behind me. Because these are all brand new raised beds, I want to get irrigation on them. So we've spent a lot of time watering these already, so getting the irrigation hooked up is my next big project out here. I have all the parts I need, and I will take you guys along for that journey as well. So if you've ever accidentally over-ordered on bulbs or corms, let me know below. And if you grow gladiolus, I would love to know any tips or tricks you have for growing them as a cut flower and succession planting them. Like I said, these ones planted today, June 24th, and hopefully in 2 more weeks I'll plant the next round. I don't know technically when the other ones started because they just came up naturally, probably starting a month or so ago if I had to guess. So they've been growing for a little bit already. Again, if you have any varieties that you love that are must grows, please let me know. They're definitely a flower that I think are worth investing in just for yourself, or if your clients will enjoy them, because they have such an incredible vase life and such incredible colors that they come in. Okay, I think it's time to go in. The mosquitoes are getting horrendous. See you next time.